You ever follow a story where you just had to know the outcome? For me, it was the 12-year-old kid in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, who got sucker punched. See, uh, this kid is dancing out on the street along with his instructor. Apparently, the instructor has a dance studio, and sometimes kids from around join him in these impromptu dance sessions, and they get tips and stuff from passersby. So, this particular evening, the 12-year-old kid and the instructor are out. The kid is dancing, just having a good time, doing what any normal little 12-year-old kid would do in 2021. And a black SUV pulls up. The door opens up, and a black male gets out. He pretends to be innocently dancing to the music. He sneaks up on the poor kid, who's not even looking back, and punches the kid, dropping him to the floor. So the dance teacher is shook. He jumps up and he runs out, but then the guy runs back into the SUV, jumps in, and the SUV drives off. And the dance teacher standing there like with his arms, his palms up, and is like, "What's going on?" What, like he doesn't know what to do. Anyway, he goes back to the kid who is like bleeding and needs medical attention, right? And so apparently they have to take the kid. They have to call the police, and it's a big thing. So anyway, uh, the police managed to find through videotape or police work or whatever, find out the SUV, and then find out the guy who got out of the SUV, and it's this Mr. Cedric Charles Moore. And so the police issued a warrant for his arrest. So they searched his residence, but his family and friends, they were not trying to go there, right? So the police charged the guy with felony assault in the second degree and felony child endangerment in the first degree due to the age of the victim and the violence of the act. People were pushing to have them also charge the guy with a hate crime, but the district attorney explained that that would mean a less severe crime charge, which was not in the best interest of the victim, which I kind of agree with, because the one thing where he's charged with endangerment of a child, that's, you don't have to even prove that. The kid's 12, that's automatic. So he's going to get that plain. So at least charge this guy with something, right? So then the district attorney said, no, we're just going to stick with the charges that we gave, right? So after that, the police applied enough pressure until Mr. Moore ran until he couldn't hide anymore, and he was forced to turn himself in to police. So they charged him, or his bail is set as $50,000 cash, which means he's not getting out because come on, nobody has 50,000, bro. Not just regular people. But anyway, whatever. As of now, he still sits in the Cape Girardeau jail, right? He's awaiting trial. So the thing is, if you haven't seen the video, of course, please go check it out. It's I'm not pleased because the poor kid gets to be seen hit again and again, but it's evil. Just who would just don't you think it's a 12-year-old kid? What could you possibly do to just something to just come up and punch the kid for what? So anyway, whatever the case, what my thing in this video is, right? To just give you an example of what I think was a little funny, and I'm not blaming anybody. Nobody expects that they be out there in the street dancing and whatever, and somebody's gonna come by and punch them. Nobody's gonna expect that. I understand that. My thing is, right, that if you as a dance instructor is gonna open up a space where kids can come and dance, by default, you are the one in charge, and by default, you are the one responsible for what goes down. Again, Not saying anything, did anything. The kid, of course, was completely innocent. He's only 12. He can't know what evil lurks in the hearts of men. So he's completely innocent. But if you watch the video, you see that when the black SUV pulls up, right? Of course, nobody at that point thinks that somebody's gonna jump out and punch you in the head. No, it's a well-trafficked street. There's a bar across the street. The dance instructor said that sometimes the bar looks out. The bouncers look out for them, so they felt safe, which is any normal person would feel, right? So the black SUV pulls up. When the black SUV pulls up, everything's fine. The kid's dancing, music's playing. The dance instructor is looking, playing his beats or watching his music, whatever. No problem. Then the door opens and somebody gets out. Now, at that point, if you watch the video, you see that the kid looks back. When he hears the door open, he sees the guy gets out the car, but then unfortunately he turns back towards his dancing and ignores the guy that's getting out of the car. The dance instructor, on the meantime, is still looking at his things and not paying any attention until the guy finally starts dancing, like he's, swinging, like he's going to the music. And then the dance instructor finally turns to look at him, right? Now, my point at this thing, ladies and gentlemen, is if one thing you should take, never let someone invade your space. That to personal safety is like paramount. People can't hurt you if they can't touch you, right? So if you maintain that space, you can maintain some semblance of protection, is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, the dance instructor, when the guy finally swings his arms like that, the dance instructor looks up and the guy actually steps and hits the kid before the dance instructor finally jumps up and says, "Oh, what's going on?" And and again, I'm not blaming the guy. Unfortunately, I'm just saying that, right? Because how was he to know? But I'm saying, if you see the guy's about to hit, then you got to say, before he hits, you got to make that move. You can't have him hit the guy, then you go, "Wow, what happened?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, my point is that, what is my point? I'm not blaming dance instructor. Please don't think I'm saying it's his fault or that the kid deserved to get, because that's what people are going to say. "Oh, you say the kid deserves to get." I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying these are things that people should watch for so that when it does happen, you can't be caught by surprise because at least you were on the lookout, right? So, two things too. One more thing. let me coach how I say this, right? But can you imagine if the roles were reversed, right? If it was a white guy that had hit a black 12-year-old kid, the police department would have been burned down the next day. The protest would have been beyond comprehension. And of course, you know what they say, "The war on black men, no, 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 oh, yeah, yeah, no." But nobody's going to protest this one. Only the boy's mother. No, there's going to be no disruption and, no, that's not going to happen, right? But the second point that I want to make is that guess who were the ones that dug through all the evidence to find out who that SUV belonged to? Guess who are the ones who used their resources to find out the people registered to the person in that name or their connections to them? And then kudos to the people that have to go out there and find that person and charge them with crimes. Guess who that was? No, not a social activist, not a social worker. It was the police. The same police that Black Lives Matter wants to see defunded. No, police do this work day in and day out. A lot of times they do it completely unappreciated, and it's so wrong. Police, dedicated public service like these, the district attorney of that county, the police chief of that county, the police officers and the detectives of that county. They should all be proud because they stood for law and order, and that's what police do all the time. That's why police officers should be, and not just police officers, public servants should be respected and appreciated. Thank you.